So last night, I posted this video in Seal's Discord server. It took me 6 weeks to get around to making it. The amount of time I actually spent on it, I wasn't keeping track of, but I probably could have gotten it done in a week. But anyway, we're gonna go and look at how I did it. This video here is, I wanted to say that it's the first piece of fan art I actually made, but the first piece of fan art I actually made was the Robin hoodie in Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is technically Cake Jumper fan art because it's based on Dave, although it's based a little bit more on an American Robin, because at the time I actually didn't know that there was a difference. Anyway, where this project starts is with Vroid Studio, which I also learned about through Cake Jumper. And the thing about this, you can see the model I have here. So what this is free on Steam, and it lets you create a model, a 3D model, for VTubing is what it's intended for. And you've got a bunch of sliders, you can adjust everything, you can customize hairstyle. So it's just a really nice way to quickly and easily make your own 3D model for VTubing and stuff. Lots of options. It's very nice. You can customize colors and everything. You could even how do you do it again? You can also create your own custom ones. So you can start with a knit sweater. So here we go. We have this knit sweater, and you can edit the texture on it. And then you have this painting tool. I wanted to be able to pull this into GIMP to edit it better, but honestly this is pretty good because it gives you the it shows you where all the triangles are. If I can just ugly draw something on here, you can see, yeah, you paint on this side on the right, and then it shows up on the thing on the right. And this is the hood. So it's part of the model, but it's anyway. When you're done with all of that, you can save it, but I'm not going to. And then you can export it as a VRM. VRM models are compatible with basically every VTubing software as far as I'm aware. It works with Warudo, which is what I used for a while. I knew about Vroid Studio because I used it when I was VTubing. In fact, my profile picture currently is just a zoomed in close-up of my Vroid model. So then we go into Blender, and I'm just going to start a general one to show you how do I do it, because I had to install a plugin that lets you import VRM models into Blender, which is really nice. So it lets you take your VRM models and just drop it in, and oh, yeah, there she is. So I forgot this is the so this is the version of the seal model before I edited anything, or I just picked a default outfit that I felt worked best, and it's really nice because it comes fully textured. It's got all the shading stuff working correctly on it. It even has an armature, so I can go into pose mode and I can move everything around. I don't know what these bones are supposed to move. I thought they would move the skirt, but apparently they don't. Does this one move the skirt? No. Okay. So Yeah. It even has these colliders. I'll go back into object mode. It has these colliders. I believe these are for physics, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't played around with that yet. And then as for the face, it actually uses blend shapes for the face, which is in Blender. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. It's not in there. Wouldn't it be in material? Is it data? It's in data. Yeah. Okay. So here we are. We have the vertex group, so that's not what I want. Blender calls them shape keys. So here, I can just click and drag this up, and you see her face moves a bit. I don't really like the outline, and I don't know how to hide it, but what I can do is I can hide the armature, so at least that's not in our way. You can just angry, and you can like stack these on top of each other, so I can be like, that one that doesn't appear to be doing anything. Most of what I use is A, I, U, E, O, and this is just, you turn this one up and make the O shape, and then you have the E shape, and the U shape, and the I shape, and the A shape, and you can like put them together so you can do a little bit of A and a little bit of O, and then you put a little bit of U in there, and look at that. Wow, it's a unique shape. And you can animate these. I forgot how. Insert keyframe. There we go. You have to click on it here, and then it shows up here. So now I have a keyframe here now because I'm on frame 1. If I go over here, and then I set it to this and put a keyframe there, then I can play it and it animates. That's how you animate a face in Blender. Congratulations. Another cool thing about the VRM that, okay, I'm going a little bit out of chronological order here because I didn't know this until yesterday. Shading. So the VRM model comes with its own plate of spaghetti for the way the shading works. There's a lot going on here, and I barely know enough to be able to understand. But the thing is, the face comes with its own plate of spaghetti. The body comes with its own plate of spaghetti. The hair comes with its own plate of spaghetti. And the thing I don't understand, and probably someone's gonna see me do this and they're gonna be like, "You idiot, how do you not know that? It's so simple." I tried to oh wait, let's see. I wonder if it'll happen the exact same way. I delete this. I deleted the shading for the body, and now she has the void for skin. And if I go and add I don't remember diffuse BDSF, and I've really zoomed out there. Diffuse BDSF, and then we just put that as a material output. Well, bam. The texture is gone. It's just pure white now. And I don't know why. And it's just the skin. I've selected the entire outfit as well. But this is just her skin. And look, I can change the color of her skin. Wow, look at that. But like, where'd the texture of her skin go? It's somewhere in this plate of spaghetti. And I don't know where. Probably somewhere here. Wait. But I don't understand what's going on. And I don't really need to. It's doing most of this stuff on its own. That's nice. So now now we can open up the actual project file. So, this is the actual project file here. Turn on the textures. So, this, it's a VRM model from Vroid Studio. I used the editing options to make the outfit look different. Like the texturing on the dress, I removed a lot of it because I'm not good enough at drawing. I just kind of made it a solid color. And that's fine because it actually has the 3D model shape. I based it off of Seal's avatar. I even added this this headband thing. Okay, you can see the meme there. We'll get to that later. This is literally hand drawn in that texture editor, and it was actually quite difficult for me to wrap my head around drawing on this 2D thing, because like I'm fairly certain these two ends of the bow are the same size the way I drew them on the 2D part of it, but then you end up with a bigger one and a smaller one. That's just because of the way it gets put onto the model. Free teapot that I downloaded off the internet, and then I colored it purple. The stamp itself, I'm actually quite proud of, because I made it by editing a cylinder. So what I did was I added a mesh cylinder, and then I went into like this mode, and then I how do you do it? It was like subdivide. See, I've already forgotten how to do it. Anyway, somehow I subdivided it to get a bunch of extra vertices all down the cylinder, so that I was able to just squish it down. So I squished down everything except the bottom. So this was just like a flat cylinder, and then I made like, this ring, this circle here just underneath the top a little bit wider, and then this one's roughly the same size. And then, I moved this part way down and squished it together to get like a nice little stamp shape. And then the stack of papers is actually just two cubes that I squished up, and then I made a texture for in GIMP. So this is the texture that I made for the stack of papers. You can see I just colored it slightly yellowish, just so that I could see what I was doing, because obviously this is the bounds of where it gets applied to the model. All of this white space here is not going to be used by the model. So, I could draw anything here and you wouldn't see it in Blender. And then I just did a bunch of straight lines to make it look like it's a stack of papers. And then here, I made a formal document, a formal meme proposal. I just typed a bunch of stuff. Let me see if I can read it. Okay, so this is a proposal to add the following meme or memes after review by the Seal Approval and Security Society, SASS. The proposed meme or memes will either be approved or denied. Only approved memes may be posted in Discord. If your meme is pending approval, you may post it without penalty, but it may be subject to deletion by one of the moderators in the event approval is denied. Posting of denied memes will result in penalties including, but not limited to, deletion, being kicked from the server, being banned from the server, removal of VIP status, judgment, and laughter. Posting of funny images outside of hashtag memes is technically against the rules, but may be permitted given all the following criteria are met. The post is funny. The post is in the topic of the current conversation. The moderators don't feel like taking action. All the memes you wish to submit for... Oh, add the memes you wish to submit for approval below. If the memes are approved, you will receive a copy of this proposal with a seal of approval added. If the memes are denied, you will receive a copy of the proposal with a seal of denial added. Please refrain from posting your memes until you receive a response. And then this is, I think this might be the first meme from the memes channel in Seal's Discord. This image is the first picture in the hashtag memes channel. Fun little bit of trivia there. So that's the meme proposal. This one is, at the time that I made it, this is the last meme that Seal herself added a reaction to. Thus, this is the one that got the seal of approval. The desk itself is just a big cube that I squished. It goes like way deeper than it needs to, but also this is all you see. So it could have been a plane. Doesn't really matter. The green screen in the background I'm actually quite proud of because it's a plane that I named background. The material, actually I should go into the shading tab. It took me a long time to figure this out. This is all it is. It's just color. It's just straight green. I was able, how did I, oh, by clicking on this. I got RGB, green and alpha all the way up, everything else all the way down, and then just boop, put that to the surface. So when you turn on shading, the green screen, if it's visible by the camera, is just full green, nothing else, which makes it really easy to key out later. It took me so long. Like, in the past when I've done this, I would do weird things like adjusting, because it would be using like diffuse BDSF, and I don't know what that means, but it's like the general, it's like the basic shading in Blender. But then I'd have to like make sure I'm lighting it properly, or sometimes I tried giving it emission so that it itself is a little bit of a light source, but that doesn't quite work. This is so simple and it just works so much better. So now I guess it's time to talk about the actual animation. And unfortunately that means I need to unhide the armature. So we go into the animation tab. This is actually really nice, the way Blender does this, because I don't know if other animation softwares do this, because Blender's the only one I've ever used. But I have this is my workspace window. This is where I can like look around, I can click on this, and I can, you know, move things around. And on the left, I'm seeing what the animation actually looks like. I'm just kind of showing you around Blender at this point, but this is all really cool. Like, look, I can have, this is just the geometry, no shading, no textures. I can also set this to wireframe. That's not really that useful in this instance, but I could also turn on textures, so you can see what texture each thing has. Or I could turn on shading, and this shows me what the lights are doing to everything. So I can, where's the light? Here it is. I can't do it in pose mode. I need to go to object mode. Now I can click on the light. And now if I grab the light and move it around, you can see in the preview window, you can see the light changing. Very, very fun. And so if I click on one of these, you can see here, all of these gray dots are keyframes for other bones, for bones that are not the one I just selected. If you see a little bit of a line here, that's because these keyframes match each other. So if I select this one, you can see, oh yeah. Oh wait, no. Okay, I was wrong. Forget what I just said. All of these are related to the bone I just selected. If I select like one of her legs, no, I still have some of them. Oh, it's because because there's a few keyframes for like the root, the whole armature, because she kind of
A meme! Approved!
yeah, she kind of stands up at the end. How did I add the audio? I don't even. Oh, that's right. So video editing. This is where it gets stupid actually, because I had like the layout going. I had like the basic, movements of her arms, like that. And then I was like, well, now I need to animate the face so that, her mouth actually moves when she talks. But in order for that, I need to add in the actual sound files. But when I put the sound files into the video editing tab here, it deleted the entire layout. And so what I had to do, I don't remember what I did exactly, but I did something to I think what I did was I selected everything, and then I just hit Control C, and then I went into video editing, plopped it in there. Oh no, it deleted everything, and then I was able to just Control paste it, and it was fine. Weird thing that Blender did there. So, for the part of the animation where she grabs the stamp, I tried hand animating the stamp and just frame by frame having it follow her hand, but that was annoying and tedious, and I got part way through, and her hand would move, and then the stamp would be it wasn't good. So what I did was I just attached the stamp. Yeah, I just parented it to the hand. I believe I parented it to the collider, but so basically whatever the arm does, the stamp follows. See, look at that! Wow, cool. So problem with that is that the stamp needs to start on the table there. And you can see here how it snaps into place. That's because it's not actually snapping into place. So this cylinder, if we follow it, there it is. It's so its scale right now is 0 across the board. That's why I couldn't see it. But so this cylinder is attached to her hand the whole time. It's just got a scale of 0. And in between these two frames, you can see there's a keyframe here. So it's keyframed, and then the very next frame, it's to its the full size, 0.062, because this was based on that cylinder mesh that I added earlier, and you saw how big that was. I had to scale it down to make it the size of a stamp. But then what happens to this stamp? Well, what happens to this stamp is the same thing in reverse. It just, it gets put to a scale of 0. And you can see it's right there. Yeah, that's it. That's the stamp right there. Wow. Okay. And then I used almost the same. I used a slightly different version of the same trick for putting the thumbs up thing onto the meme itself, you'll notice she completely misses with the stamp. But you don't notice because perspective. Look at that. It's perfect in every way. So this object here, I put somehow, I don't remember how I did it. This is the story of this whole thing, is somehow Pheldsparr pulled it off. I don't even know how I did it. And what was it I don't know I did? The origin for this plane here is right here, like at the corner. Why is the origin for the plane at the corner? So that it can rotate in her hand like that. Yeah, look, it's rotating around the origin there, so that it spins in her hand toward the camera. I really wanted to figure out a way to add more geometry to the plane so that I could animate it flopping around a little bit, but I couldn't figure that out, and I probably will be able to if I feel like it, but I don't feel like it because this is good enough. So I may have been able to animate changing the texture, but I didn't even know how to start with that. So you may have noticed the other meme all the way down there. So yeah, it just starts way down there. It actually has the same. No, oh no, I deleted it. Okay, because I animated the whole thing with only one plane, and then I duplicated it afterward with the whole animation, and then I just moved one of them way down and then deleted all the keyframes before the swap. Where does the other one go? I don't remember. It goes there. Okay. That one's... Is that one inside the desk? It's a really tall desk. No, okay, it's just below the desk. It doesn't matter. You don't see it, so... yeah. And, oh yeah. So for the animation part, I was copying from the original, for the overall movements, and matching it kind of frame by frame. I love how she starts in a T-pose, but it also, if you go and watch the original of Knuckles doing this, he also kind of starts in a T-pose. If one thing I do want to fix though is the meme just kind of phasing through the stack there. If I feel like putting more time into it, which I feel like this doesn't deserve anywhere near as much time as I've already put into it, but I would animate it so that instead of going from here straight to there, I'd have her arm move to the side a bit first and then down. And I might actually do the same trick that I did with the stamp and have, because you can see the meme actually falls behind her hand a little bit, because like for her hand to animate, it's based on all of the bones of like the arm, goes from like the shoulder. We start with like the shoulder joint, and then go down to the forearm, and then like all of those. So there's a lot more motion involved, which is why her hand doesn't quite move in a straight line, but the piece of paper does, because all it does is, you know, it has a start point and an end point, so it just goes straight between them. So now I have her mouth animation, which is actually run through shape keys. So now we can see all the keyframes for the shape keys as she goes.
A meme. Approved.
It works. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. I also there's also shape keys for the eyes closing. So she blinks a couple of times in this animation, and I'm really glad with how that turned out, because it was so easy to do, and it's like probably the one thing that was like the lowest amount of effort for the most amount of impact that nobody will notice, because everyone's gonna notice. Oh wow, that's SealThisDeal. Oh wow, that's a meme on a piece of paper. Oh wow, that's a teapot. But people aren't gonna be like, she blinks. But like, you don't notice it, but it adds so much to the animation. What was I going to talk about? Oh, shading. I wanted to make this animation cell shaded. And I was watching like a video about how they got it to work in Guilty Gear and stuff. And so then I was messing around with this. This is the basic Blender shader, by the way, because I have the teapot selected. I didn't realize that. Except usually you don't have this add shader here. Usually it's just BDSF straight to surface. And then I just adjusted the base color. So you can actually adjust this shader by doing principled BDSF to material output. If you go into material properties, there we go, material 4. Settings, yeah, you have like surface, so principled BDSF. So you can have this drop down menu if you want to use this to adjust everything, or you can adjust all of this stuff in the node-based editor, and you can do a lot more stuff with the node-based editor. So we can do a geometry node, and so for the toon shader it was geometry, and you put that into vector math, do a dot product with the vector math, and we take the normal. So the normal is a vector. Vectors are just directions. The normal is perpendicular to the surface of the object. So it's like, and then do the dot product 001. Let me just disconnect that and put that in instead. So now we're just going based on the normal, based on this arbitrary vector, which I can adjust the direction of here. Oh yeah, I wanted to, and then you see how it's got like shading as if it's lit directly from above, and then I can adjust these to be like, this is the real direction of the shading, but this isn't quite the cell shading that I wanted. And the way you make it cell shaded is actually really easy. All you have to do is math. Just add a greater than, and plug that in like so, and now there you go. And I think you adjust the threshold, yeah. So there you go, basic cell shading, except there's absolutely zero texture there. But I can, I can adjust the lighting, and I can go here. I can select the light, go to material rotations. If I right click it, I can copy as a new driver. Then I can go in here and then I can paste the driver. So now, as I'm adjusting the light object, it's adjusting the lighting on the teapot. That's pretty cool. Except it looks bad. So I went with this instead. Because I couldn't quite figure out how to get this shading to work with textures. Because, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. In case that isn't obvious, I don't really know what I'm doing. And most importantly, I couldn't figure out how to adjust the shaders on this because I don't know what's going on with this. Oh, one cool thing that I do know one little thing about how this works. So you have material output. So this is, I added this to the teapot earlier. And this lets me, in the material tab over here, so I can adjust this even if I'm in layout mode. I can adjust the shading and stuff. Because here, the material output is just like, hey, this panel on the right here, just take all of your information from whatever's plugged into you. If I select this, you see the material output. What's plugged into it is this thing called please use VRM material panel instead. So that if I'm in layout mode and I select her and then I go to the material tab and it says, oh, please use VRM material tab instead, because this tab is what they want you to use. So you're supposed to be able to enable that, and now you have all of these settings. These come with the plugin so that your VRM material, you can adjust it. I have no idea how most of this stuff works. But so they have this plugged into that so that the basic material tab, it tells you, hey, use this other tab instead, which is this one. Yeah. I don't know what I'm looking at for most of this. I mean, I know what these mean, rim color. I think I can figure out what that means, but I don't need to. Was there anything else interesting going on? Oh, yeah. This here. This is a texture editor. I don't know how to make this go away. This is a texture editor in Blender. One of the reasons I was playing with the shaders to begin with. Come on, there we go. I'll hide that. Is because the lighting on her face wasn't great, so it was really hard to see her mouth moving. I say was. So the first thing I tried was adjusting the texture. So I tried, drawing on the texture, but oh no, that's just annotating it. That doesn't actually show up there. I was able to open it up in Blender, and I tried to make her lips redder, but it looked gross and weird. So what I ended up doing instead was in here, there was something going on. Oh yeah, the shade color texture. Here, by default, for some reason, the shadows on her face, for some reason. Somehow I had messed something up in the process of playing with all this stuff. The shadows on her face were lighter than the rest of her face, which isn't how that's supposed to work. I have no idea how I did it, but I do remember the way I fixed it was I went in here to the shadow color texture and I changed it, and it looks like it's not there anymore. Or did I adjust it over here? Oh, shade color. Here it is. Yeah, by default the shade color was like that. Something like that. So it was like... There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about with this? I don't think so. Oh! I remember now. The sounds. So, you'll notice in this animation...
A meme. Approved.
This is just her voice line. That's the only sound in it. But in the
A meme. Approved.
there's a lot more sounds going on. Most notably the jingle at the end, but also the sound of her stamping it and the sound of paper. So I just took this microphone into my closet and just played around with paper for a bit. Got a lot of cool paper sounds, and then I put the ones that fit best into there. And then the sound of the stamp. Initially, I used one of these Jenga blocks, and I was just kind of hitting my hand. But that doesn't really sound like a stamp, it just sounds like a slap or a clap. I was like, it doesn't sound like a stamp. So the sound I actually used was this. This is a multi-tool that I have had for as long as I can remember. I must have gotten this when I was like 16. But the sound came from this, from that's the sound of a stamp in the animation. So after exporting this, exporting this, yeah, I accidentally left this as no audio. So I exported it with no audio. It was literally just the image, but that's fine. Because then I was able to open Kdenlive. Hey, look at that. So now Kdenlive has the ability for me to put video clips together. So I re-added
A meme.
the voice line
A meme.
as best as I could. So I probably should have re-exported it with audio added, so I didn't have to try to line up the voice lines again. But then in here, oh yeah, I had to do a bunch of stuff with Audacity for the sounds too. I could show that off. Ooh. Okay, here is the original recording of Paper. Can you hear it? This is the sound of me walking into the closet with the microphone, banging on stuff as I walk through. Oh. Oops. Okay. I forgot how Audacity works. So, this is where the sound of the paper actually is. Can you hear it? I didn't think so. I had to go and add amplify. I think I amplified this by 20 decibels. And I had to allow clipping. So now there's a lot of clipping, and it's going to be really annoying to listen to, especially all the noise at the beginning and at the end. So we do clip fix and just apply that. Look at that beautiful sounds of paper, right? Nothing else. Raw, and it's really noisy actually. So where? Okay. Alright, so me saying okay there was me letting future me know that the door was shut, everything is quiet. This is the moment of silence that I use for noise reduction. You have to get the noise profile, and then you select everything, and you have to go and select noise reduction again, and then just click OK. Sometimes you have to adjust those settings. But now, now it's just the sound of the paper and nothing else. Beautiful, perfect, amazing. And I did the same with the stamp. Stamp sound, basically the same, and I just exported it as as the cleaned up version, plopped it in here, found the sounds that worked best. So
Approved.
and then you'll also notice, wait a second, in the version that I saw, the background isn't green. The background is like her stream starting soon background. And that's because I turned off the chroma key. There we go. Yeah, I thought it was easier to do it that way. Because now I have it, because now that I have it like this, I can, if I want to put a different background behind her, I can just put a different background in this track and have the chroma keys turned on. And oh, also the congratulations, your meme has received the seal of approval. I just threw that together in GIMP. It was really easy. There we go. So that's how I made fan art.
A meme. Approved.